Hi, I want to share with you how I built my fractional practice. And I did it in 8 months, going from zero with no clients to 10K. So I'm going to tell you about the journey and that you can do it too. So I'm Connie Lund, and I've been doing fractional work for 2 years. I always said along the way that I just didn't want to run an agency. I liked being an employee and it was comfortable. But in the end of 2022, I knew that there was a path that was going to happen. I was working with a startup founder and he was spending $30,000 to $35,000 a month on Google Ads and he was addicted. So I, after the first month, said, "You're not getting leads from this that are really contributing." But he continued. And then I went and did my things, which are much more organic. So it was right around Halloween time. And he sent me a note and he said, "Can you please pull together all of the leads and the sources that have delivered to customers?" And so I did that, and spending 30,000 times 10 months had delivered one customer that was giving us $800 a month in recurring revenue. So a couple of days later, then he laid off all of us that were essentially US people. And I thought, well, I could find another job. So I went and I talked to founders on LinkedIn. I was reaching out to people and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a role." But most of them are early stage and they couldn't afford a full-time equivalent marketer. And so I decided, after talking to a couple of them, to split my time into 10-hour increments. So at a rate, every 4 weeks, you would get 10 hours each week that I could give them fractional marketing, a senior marketing person for that rate. It was a good deal. And I've learned that I can move fast. So that's how it happened. And so pretty soon I had one client, and then I was interacting on LinkedIn, which I'll tell you about. I had people reaching out to me, and pretty soon I had more clients. And that's how it started. I love it though. I love having the freedom. I am very flexible. I work with my clients when they need, and I create the strategy, and we really are focused. So we move forward very quickly. So that's what happened. And I'm happy to be here now. I really wish I had done it a lot sooner. So my background is that I've had 18 years online working in digital marketing. A company found me back in 2006, participating in forums and providing help around their software, which is about organizing digital photos. Before that, I had very distinctly different careers. I was a customs inspector for 10 years. I was a high school teacher, and I was a public librarian. But they've all contributed to me. I have a very service attitude. So it's been really good. The one thing is that every transition required me to reinvent. And that is the key here. You need to reinvent, rethink things. The way that you get a job is very differently than the way you find a client or have a client find you. That's much easier. So getting a job is a mindset around a long series of interview that's in their hands. Getting a fractional client is so much easier. So when I'm in LinkedIn, once they look at my LinkedIn profile and say, "This person has credibility," we have a call, there's no competition. In that 30-minute call, I ask them, what are their challenges? What would they like to improve? What are their goals for their business? Then after 10 minutes, I talk for about 10 minutes how I can help them specifically. And this is really similar to a job interview where you talk about the situation, the actions you took, the results, and the impact. So after 20 minutes, if I can get that person to ask what's the price or what's the cost and how do you work with us, it's golden, because then I can talk about my rates and we can talk about that next step and what a retainer, a contract looks like. And I'm not a salesperson, so it's actually pretty easy, and it's much easier than getting a job. The interview cycle is all about them, and if they like you, there's tons of competition. Everybody's trying to kick you out, essentially. So that is the good side. I love what I'm doing now. One of the biggest benefits is that I can be very blunt and direct with my founders that I work with as my clients. When you're an employee, you tend to try to hope that they will absorb your request and come along with the program. But as a fractional, I view it as my role to specifically say bluntly, here's the feedback, I think we should change this. So when I work with a client, I come in and, well, before I start, I do like a 30, 60, 90-day plan for them. And I'm able to then meet with the founder or CEO. We review it, we align. And so on day one, I am onboarding myself. I'm reviewing whatever content, documents. I embed myself as an employee, albeit a fractional one, part-time. But I need that communication with other groups. If they already have an existing marketing team that I'm going to support, then I meet with them and I get to know them too. So it's really fun. In that first week, I can do my onboarding. And think about when you take a full-time job, 1-2 months in onboarding, right? At least a month. Then in that first month, I can start to get things going. I have a very specific program. I have an offer. I have a program that I execute on. I call it my MVP, my minimum viable program, because it's what one person can do at a startup and get results, and it's sustainable. So, for example, I started with a client in early December. After 1 month, we have a 70% increase in pipeline. That's beautiful. And I am working with the founder and coaching him on how to use LinkedIn more effectively and the other channels. So there's email and HubSpot. So it's really a lot of fun because you can move just really fast. So I've noticed over the last 2 years that I could almost do a full-time job or a full-time delivery that was happening when I was a full-time employee. And the difference is, I think, just the mindset. I come in and I'm very focused. When you go into a full-time role, you get all these squirrels. Hey, this is a good idea. Go do this. And things are shifting and changing. And there's all these other things. And then there's all the regular meetings. So I try to do 1 meeting a week with the CEO or founder, or if there's a marketing team, the group. But it's very, very different. So my schedule, I try to have Fridays off just for me to work on what I choose to work on. And it's just really nice. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. The one thing that I really like about it is that I'm not living under this constant weight hanging over my head. Like, when is the layoff coming? And I'm not on one single income source. That's a huge benefit. Because every time you're laid off, it's a life-changing event. It comes with emotions, panic, what next, insurance changing, all of those things. So when you have clients and you end up with like an anchor client, I had one client for over a year, and it's stable and you continue to help them, and it's a rhythm to it. So it's much, much better than being an employee, in my opinion. So you can manage the disruption. Let's say a client decides to leave. You get heads up notice and you have time to go find another client. So it is much easier. The other thing is that I like having different clients. So without ChatGPT, I would have died. Serving one brand as a full-time employee, you get to know the messaging and marketing, you get to know all the pieces around that. But with ChatGPT, I have been able to serve up to 3 clients at once. So I've created some tools. I have an AI content process that makes unique content. I train it on their business, their mission, their vision, their differentiators, all those things. And I can create content that passes muster. For example, geospatial technologies. It's all about data. And I can take a title, create a blog post, give it to the senior tech leader, and it passes. He'll read it, lightly edit it, and can roll with it. And that's really important. You need to be able to serve multiple clients. But you're a senior person, so you have condensed down what you do, and you can do it so much more quickly. So I think that there's a difference between fractional and there's consulting. And in my view, fractional is you come in and you not only bring the strategy and the execution. Some consultants come in, they'll be there for a few weeks and they'll write this big report and give their recommendations and then they leave. So they don't execute. And then there's advisory, which is really just a high level, here's some strategic suggestions. And so companies now are looking for hands-on people. So if you say, well, I just want to do strategy and consulting, that's fine. But companies have really shifted, especially with all the layoffs. They need gaps filled in. They lay off people and then all of a sudden, who's going to do the work? How are we going to get this done? And so fractional is really making a big impact and becoming popular. So another thing is about your rates, and pricing is hard, but what your salary was, plus another 15% for running your business, meaning you have to pay your own taxes, you have to have tools and things like that. So I saw one software company that's offering fractionals, a platform to run their business, and they said, well, tools cost $8,000 a month. Seriously, it's not that expensive. You need Calendly, maybe Zoom, unless you use Google Meet, simple things that just cost under $10 a month. Seriously. So that tech stack I will define separately in another video. So when you're going to get started, all of a sudden, here you are, and I'm going to do my own business. So how do I get clients? It's the biggest, most important question. And a lot of people will go to their network and they'll get clients there. I knew mine, I just knew it wasn't viable. And so some will get references from others. They'll put the word out. So in my case, I hit LinkedIn and I just started what I do naturally. I've been selling and marketing in the social channels for 18 years. I took one early stage startup to market back in 2008 in Twitter. And I work in the social channels I breathe. And so I was out networking in LinkedIn. And I don't mean saying, hey, let's have a cup of coffee. I mean commenting in people's posts that have massive networks, 100,000 plus. And all of my clients have seen that and come to me. So the steps are: optimize your LinkedIn profile to show what you do. Please change the landscape banner to something else. A cityscape isn't going to help you. Put some words on it. Tell what you do. In the headline, those first 40 characters are the most important. Use the recipe like helping. So in my case, helping fractionals and founders get leads and grow their revenue. It's really simple. You have a professional expertise, so you can put that in your profile and roll with it. This thing about personal branding and you need to post content every day and it's not necessary. It's a myth. I didn't do it. I tried to start and I'm like, I can't stand this posting every day. Now I post content because I like it. I like to do it. I have ideas. I have a method to noting my ideas and building that content. So I have someone who I met last June, and he's a fractional CRO, Chief Revenue Officer, and a sales guy. He didn't want to create content. So I said, and he had tried agencies. Agencies don't work. They can't help you because you need to figure out what you're offering. So I said to him, this is how to do it. He went out into people's networks. He commented. He had 5 meetings in 3 weeks. It was exciting. That's how you can do it. And I teach this. So that's the best way. People want to buy the magic button to get their leads. If it was that easy, everybody would be millionaires because they'd have all the business they want. And it's a hard thing. But anyway, so I built my fractional business that way. And now I'm teaching others how to do it similarly. So you can also do outreach in LinkedIn. It's really good. I've been playing in Reddit. There's lots of opportunity there. There are people out looking for your services. So my lessons that I've learned are that you need to set boundaries. Everyone wants everything for free. So when you talk to founders, when you talk to your ideal client, talk about what you do and the results and the impact that you get. But you don't have to say how you do it step by step because you'll be doing it. So I think that that's important. I love my rolling retainer. So it's a contract that just auto renews unless someone cancels it. And then there's a 7-day cancellation, which is quicker than employment, which is 2 weeks. I think that there's some basic things. If you say, well, I offer marketing services, it's too broad. You're going to have a very difficult time connecting with people. What is the unique thing that you do that you can offer? So when I say offer, it's that spearhead that's going to get started. The spearhead somebody's going to be interested in talking with you about. Then, as you work with them, every month you'll find other things to help with. So for example, last year I did cold email campaigns. Everything needed to be helped. The landing pages, the list, all of those things needed help. So you just find all kinds of other things to help them with. And once they've set the budget aside, it just keeps rolling. So that's what Fractional is about. I love it. I'm happy to answer questions. Put them in the comments below. I think that some people try to do both at once. That's a big pitfall. So if you say, well, I'm job hunting, so I'm not going to put that I'm doing fractional work on my LinkedIn. But then when you try to talk to somebody about doing fractional work for them, they're going to say, well, I don't know, you don't have anything. Your LinkedIn profile looks like a job resume. So you almost need to commit one way or the other. Staying on that fence is I did it, guilty. But it doesn't help one way or the other. And it's scary. I know, I was there. Deciding to make this commitment is hard. But you should be able in the first month and a half to get meetings, to talk with them, and to work on your offer. I call it offer market fit. And I'll do another video on this. But what is your offer? How can you connect with people? And is it really solving their problems? Once you get an offer that people want, that's when the magic happens. And it will make it so much easier to get clients. So we'll drill into some of those others, but let me know if you have questions. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me at my website, connielund.com. And I look forward to helping you. The fractional journey is really exciting. And it's the future. It's getting to be much more popular. You can make this happen. I've got you.